Hi, I'm Ben. Let's take a look at 11 helpful OSINT tools that you can use today for free. There's no payment, no coding, just yourself, your computer, and an internet connection. At the end of this video, I'll provide a bigger list of 24 OSINT tools that you should check out and save to your bookmarks, so hang on tight. Why am I sharing this? Well, in a world full of information, the ability to find, analyze, and verify data has never been more powerful. So whether you're investigating social media profiles, verifying viral videos, or diving deep into satellite imagery, open source intelligence tools can unlock a world of possibilities. And the best part, many of them are free. The first tool is flight tracking with Flightradar. All you have to do is head to the website at Flightradar 24, and already, as soon as you land there, you can see all of the flights currently flying around the world at any time. There's a number of features that are available in the free view, which is really quite cool. So first of all, you've got live flight tracking. So say, for example, we can see a number of helicopters around this area here. So if we look at commercial flights like this one, we can see that it's going from Tel Aviv to Paris and it's on its way there, along with a number of others. And it's really useful because we can just keep adding some of these routes around here. Each time I click on one, it just adds it to the panel there. A free version isn't unlimited, and there are some setbacks with the free version. With Flightradar 24, they've given us the opportunity to use the playback function, which is historical Flightradar data or flight data, but it only goes back a week or 7 days. So where I'm viewing this on Sunday, January 12, it allows me to go back to January 5 on the previous Sunday. And as soon as I click that, I'm currently viewing flights from January 5. And what's useful about this is that I can click a zoom out on the timeline and move, say, 12 hours forward. And it just allows me to use this timeline that I've got here, this playback timeline, and go around different dates. So I can fast forward to January 9, and we can also speed up the process as well. So you can see the flights a little bit quicker, and you can zoom out a little bit and just see what's going where a little bit quicker. Of course, if I zoomed in, say over Tel Aviv, the flights will move much quicker. And by using this, it really allows us just to track those flights, have a look at what's going where, but also get more updated information than what perhaps when you're at an airport is displayed on the board. So you'd be able to more precisely identify both where a plane is, but also when it's going to arrive. Has it even left its previous point of departure? Remember that all flights are identified by their tail number. So say I had a picture of this UR Airlines flight Y1-AQS, and I wanted to track that. I would take the registration number, or just see what the registration number is from the photo, and I would go to my Flightradar here and have a look at that flight. And here we can see some of the details about that flight. I could play its most recent flight from January 12, so we can see it on the map here, going from Istanbul to Baghdad. But also we can see some of its other flights as well. So if you ever see a plane in a video or a photo and you want to have a look at where it's going or where it's come from or how long it might be sitting on the tarmac or the apron, really useful way is just to take the registration number of the aircraft and pop it into a website like Flightradar. Of course, Flightradar is not the only flight tracker. There are a number of others, and you can easily find them just by plugging in flight trackers through Google. The second tool we're going to go through is facial recognition or facial searches with the website Search for Faces. You can easily get there by going onto Google and typing in searchforfaces.com. This is a really useful tool that allows you to search for faces across social media engines. Say you wanted to identify someone's face and you might be suspecting that they're a public person, but you just can't think of their name. Well, this is a really easy website for that. All you have to do is click on one of these easy options, such as Proceed to Search under Public Persons. I'm going to upload a photo. The image that I've chosen is one that I've used in a previous example of this gentleman. So I have uploaded the image and I'm going to click search. And it looks like we've got some identical matches, two specifically, or actually quite a few of the same gentleman. So it says it could be Blake Lively or it could be someone called David Gandy. And we seem to have a few different matches there of David Gandy. We could go to Google and perhaps even have a search now for David Gandy and see that actually, yes, that's the person that we were looking for in here. Not only can you search for public faces, but we could also perhaps have a look at avatars of the social network TikTok. Just before we click on that, you can also see just how many faces have been processed. So I'm going to go to TikTok. I'm going to click proceed to search. Looks like we've got some success and even some different images. And it looks like David Gandy is pretty popular on TikTok, or at least people using David Gandy's images. OSINT tool number 3 that we're going to look at is searching for usernames on the internet. And specifically, we're going to look at the tool What's My Name Web, which is made by a number of individuals, including Micah Hoffman and others. And also you can see OSINT Combine is involved up here. OSINT Combine is a OSINT organization, and I've actually used their username because we are going to have a search for their other social media handles. So I'm going to paste that into there and run the search. So we are running a search for OSINT Combine, and you can see what it does here. It's quite cool. It filters by username, so it comes up with the social media platforms that use the same username. It's come up with some Google searches, or at least the first page of Google results. But also interesting when we do the What's My Name web search is this section over here. Not only does it come up with all results, but it also filters the Google search results or the search results of the username that we've popped in up here into, say, for example, PDFs. Is it mentioning any spreadsheets, documents, any PowerPoints? No. Text files? No. Python, JavaScript? No. And when you're searching for, say, someone's name or usernames that pop up, so I've done this for mine just to keep track of if anyone's using my tweets or citing my tweet, but it's nice to have it all in one place here. Now that it's finished the processing, it's found 9 handles, I guess you could call them, or social media accounts. This is also a really good way to find some of the old social media handles that you might have had in the past, and perhaps ones that you might have forgotten about as well. So a very useful tool, and a big hat tip to all those involved who have kept it up and further developed it as time has gone on. The fourth OSINT tool we're going to look at is finding out how many people fit in a space using map checking. It's a really cool tool that allows you to basically estimate the number of people that can fit in a specific area. So, say for example, we have received a news report of people fitting in the park around the Eiffel Tower. So that's maybe a viewing area over here. We'll go on satellite imagery, and maybe there's a protest or something, for example, happening along this street. And we've seen a headline that has said that there's more than 1 million people, millions gather in front of the Eiffel Tower. Well, is that actually possible? Well, let's have a look. So what we can do is we can simply click on the map, and we're looking at the satellite imagery that I've popped on here. We'll just go for this area here. Let's see how many people fit in this area. On the right side here, we've got differences in crowd density that we can identify as to how many people could actually be there. So here's a crowd density that's light. I can change that as well. So crowded could be about 6,700 people could fit there. If we're packing people in, so that's 4 people per square meter, 13,412 estimated. So about 13,400. We've also got a little tab here that just says, what does this look like? We can see the different types. So where we were selecting this before and we were looking at light, crowded, or packed, we can actually go through here. And this is just the density of people. So where we're looking at 4 people per square meter. Let's go back to this one and let's slide down. So we've got 4 people per square. That's what it looks like. So if you saw a photo that looked like that in comparison to perhaps a photo of 0.5 people per square meter, quite spaced out, you'd see very, very different results in numbers, right? Look at that. And so this is a very, very useful tool just to do a little bit of fact checking, especially where we see that often mentioned in news outlets or by bloggers or video loggers when they're walking through a protest saying there's millions of people or hundreds of thousands. You can easily fact check that just by identifying the area, perhaps the limitations, so the size of the area and those reference points that you might have in the video, and just having a look at perhaps how crowded it might be by using these graphics as a reference point. And then you're able to just easily check, is that actually a million people or is it more like 20,000 or 15,000? OSINT tool number 5 helps us do specific searches on Facebook, and it's called Who Posted What. There's a couple of different features of Who Posted What. I'm going to show you one specific feature which allows us to search or limit our searches based on a date or month or year. So the search that I'm going to do now that it's the new year of 2025 is to have a look at fireworks, and I'm going to also search for London. Of course, we want to see 1st of January because that would be about the fireworks from New Year's Eve in London. And here we have lots of lovely photos and videos about the beautiful fireworks that happened in London on 31st of December 2024. And we could compare those results against, say, videos and photos of 2010 fireworks from January 1, 2010. Let's also have a look. It looks like the Big Ben is still very capital, but my gosh, the quality of those photos and videos. Very different for fireworks at night. OSINT tool number 6 that we're going to look at is using machine learning to identify a model of a vehicle or a model of a car. This is a really good tool. It's called carnet.ai. You can simply go there by typing into your browser, whichever one you use, carnet.ai. It's got a number of test images on here, but we can also upload images that we might have, and it allows us to identify them for free. Of course, you can't use too many, so it seems like we're limited to 1,000 requests per day. I certainly wouldn't be hitting that rate anytime soon. But we can essentially upload an image of a car, especially when you're looking for certain car models or car providers. I've used this in a number of investigations, and it's been really useful for me because I just might not be as good as I think when dealing with car models. OSINT tool number 7 that is really useful is called Live UA Map. Live UA Map actually stands for Live Universal Awareness Map. And basically it collects and maps events happening around the world every single day, which just really allows you to be much more informed about events that are happening in certain countries or regions or theaters that you might be studying. So at the moment, I am looking over Ukraine, and rather than just heading straight to the news, I'm able to see a number of events on a map. And I might be interested in a specific region, say, for example, the front line in the southeast. And already I can see from a number of hours ago specific clashes that are happening at events. I can see this icon, and we can see all of these ones along here. But also, we can even see some of the drone attacks and Ukrainian air defense shoot downs overnight as well. The best thing about this is it always goes back to the source as well. So this source, for example, will take me to a Telegram channel, whereas some of these other sources might take me to news articles or outlets as well. There's a number of other theaters that this covers. For example, if I was interested in current events within the US around violence or what's happening there, you're able to scroll on the right through this kind of feed, if you will, of interesting news. Of course, this is only a free version. With the premium version, there's a lot more features available, such as other regions. For me, I've been watching a lot of developments in Syria recently, and we can see that there is a fair bit of tracking around there, but also just so many other regions. OSINT tool number 8 that we're going to look at is a publicly available map of power infrastructure across the world. This is an incredibly detailed map with lots of different layers, including nighttime lights, which is a pretty cool effect. The map allows us to look at so many interesting things. For example, we can have a look at China over here and have a look at where some of these hotspots are. So we've got the Desert Solar Park, and we're able to see the code of lines that we have. So these are these different colors, the different type of kilovolt power lines that we have. We've also have the logos And then we've got the solar panel lines as well. And it's a very interesting map in terms of being able to see the connectivity between infrastructure, but also details of infrastructure. So we can even shut all these off and have a look at water facilities, but then also looking at oil and gas. So we can see oil and gas pipelining going on here along this region. We can look at the infrastructure key for some of these ones. Petroleum, oil and gas, and we can see some of the different kind of color codings that we've got over here. So it's an incredibly fascinating and detailed map, and a lot of effort being put into this, and certainly something that you should check out. So big credits to the folks that have done that. And this is made using data from OSM or OpenStreetMap. So a really clever way to use this data just to get everything that you can possibly want to see on a map around infrastructure. OSINT tool number 9 that we're going to look at allows you to find geotagged YouTube videos through a map. It's called MW GeoFind. You can also find it on mapw.io, the website. You can simply get there typing MW GeoFind into any search engine. And it essentially is a search engine that allows you to find geotagged videos from YouTube and pop them up on a map. So I'm going to look around, say, for example, Philadelphia for videos. So I pop my little cursor over here, and all I'm going to do is just click on submit. It's coming up with quite a few videos, so it's processing their channel IDs. And here we go, we've got some videos. And we can easily click through some of these, and you can see that there's a number of videos with different locations. There's a 2-client nail day, woohoo. Choco Kelly surprise. But there's a lot of interesting ways to use this map. I think it's fun to also use in your local area. So I've used this when looking for hiking spots, what they actually look like, especially those amazing vloggers that just do 2-hour videos where they record a massive walk. You can kind of see what it looks like up front. You can see what you have to pack rather than just reading a short written review. OSINT tool number 10 is a shadow calculator. Essentially allows you to identify the time of day just using the shadows that are seen in photos or videos. You can simply use it by checking out the shadows that might be in an image, and any random image. You're able to essentially digitally recreate that on a map. Once you've found the location of that image, you can simply recreate that shadow there. So I'm going to change my object length to 40 meters. You can see my little shadow length right here. And that just shows us what the shadow would have looked like at 8 a.m. in the morning, 10, 11, 12, right up to 4, 5, and 6 just before the sun goes down. I've done a number of tutorials using shadow calculators. I'll link to them in the description below. You can also see the little pop-up on your screen to show some of the tutorials where we've used shadow calculations for soldiers in the desert, or Boris Johnson when he was standing up the front of 10 Downing Street in the UK. Shadow calculations are really fun. They sound quite complex, but actually they're very, very easy to do. OSINT tool number 11 is search by image. Image reverse search is probably one of the most basic OSINT tools you can use on the planet, and often the start to a very great story, whether it's an incredibly important disinformation fact-checking story, or whether it's the start of an incredible investigation that unravels as you dive down the rabbit hole. Many a great investigation has started with an image reverse search. There's an incredible plugin that's been made. It's available on Google Chrome Web Store, so you can use that on Brave or Google Chrome browsers. It's called Search by Image. I'll link to it in the section below, and essentially allows you to right-click and do a search by image on many different image reverse search engines. I'm going to go back to that example I used in one of the other tools around the OSINT combined geolocation, and I'm going to use that plugin to do a image reverse search using Google. What this does is it brings that image into Google Lens, and it does a image reverse search for me. And you can see that that website has actually popped up. We can also do that through Bing. That brings the image into Bing and shows me some results. Sometimes this can be misleading, so it's given me different locations, but quite a useful one just to be able to quickly take that image into other sections. Now I'm doing an image reverse search with Yandex, and again, that gives completely different results. And you can obviously use TinEye, Shutterstock, and even Baidu, which is a search engine for Chinese websites. You can also open the image. To get a few more details, it will open a full version of the image if you wanted to actually have a look at the image a little bit deeper. And there's so many different parts that you can look at with that. That's the plugin, Search by Image for image reverse search. Of course, you don't have to use a plugin. There's so many other options for image reverse search out there. And if you're using Google Chrome or Brave, you can simply just right click and search image with Google, which is an incredibly basic function that you've got there. That's the last tool, and I really hope you've enjoyed some of the examples that we've gone through and learning about some of these tools, and I hope they are useful to you. As promised in the start, this is not the only list of tools. I actually have further tools, so there's 24 tools in total that will be linked to in the description below. It is a full spreadsheet with all 24 tools listed in there and their links and what they do. If you have any other suggestions for tools, why not pop them in the comment section below? I'd love to learn a little bit more, as I definitely don't know everything, and I'd love to see what many of you are using in your own research. Thanks, and take it easy.